So I have my fourth middle schooler. He's actually going into eighth, but I want to talk to you about science today. That is my one thing that I feel like I'm always studying through and looking at when I am looking for the next year for curriculum. I feel like I usually have a few choices with my other subjects, but with science, there's so much out there. And for me, I don't know about you, but each one of my boys, homeschool mom of four boys, have learned so differently. Their interests are different. And the way they grasp information, some really wanted hands-on and some are just like, just give me the book, I want to read it. So finding what will work for them and draw that interest of the subject of science is challenging sometimes. So I'm going to brainstorm through some things that we have used and some things that I have been looking at for my soon to be eighth grader. He's in seventh grade, and I'm going to share with you first some of the things I've been looking at. And I'm going to be talking about different types of science. Some are just textbooks, some use some living books, and some online courses. And one in particular is new to me. I had not heard of it, and I'm very interested. So stay tuned. Welcome to my channel, Learning with Boys. I am a homeschool mom. I have four boys. I have graduated too. So this school year, I have a senior and a seventh grader. And I really can't say I'm in the midst of looking at all curriculum, but I feel like I have been looking at science since Christmas break. So I'm going to share with you just what I've been brainstorming through, possibly to give you ideas, but also share what we have used and give you some thoughts on that. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in this and get started. I would love for you to just share below as you see curriculum that you have enjoyed, you are interested in, maybe you have a favorite. We would love to hear from you. Okay, so let me first talk about the curriculum that my son is using this school year, and then I'm going to back up and talk about some of the other ones we have used, and then what am I looking at for this coming eighth grade year, planning for high school. So let's talk about what he's using now, and it's called Exploration Education. It is a physical science. Now, this is different than anything I have seen before, and really my son is loving it. He has actually asked he would like to do science like this next year, except the thing is with science is each one is different. Like, he would be glad to continue on learning about physical science, but I sort of would like to implement that some, but obviously we have to look at some other sciences because when you do get in high school, there are some requirements. So, but this is a physical science. It is very hands-on. It comes with a kit. You can get a standard kit or you can get the advanced kit. Now, the standard kit comes with 7 projects to do. Now, I really encourage you to take the time to look at some of these things online. I will try to link as much as I can of the curriculums that I share with you today below. And for this particular one, I do want you to know none of these programs am I affiliated with, so I'm just sharing my true honest opinion. But this Exploration Education is a physical science, has a standard one, which is 7 projects. It has an advanced one that has a total of 10 projects. They are both 36 weeks, but the standard one is 3 days a week, and the advanced one is 5 days a week. Now, the advanced one is really for 7th through 10th. You could use it as a high school physical science curriculum. So I do want to share that thought with you. I went ahead for this 7th grade year. I could have picked the advanced one, but I am glad we stayed with the standard because I try to do 4 days a week of school. So this really 3 days a week is perfect. Now, the book is actually online. So that's what makes this a little bit different. And they're reading online. There's pictures with examples of how to do the projects. There's a lot of terms. You take quizzes at the end of each unit that will have questions. And everything he has done has really soaked in. I want to highly recommend this, especially if you have one that would really learn with hands-on and reading. So keep in mind, this is not like audio. There is a few videos in the book. So like instead of the picture, it will actually be a live, like short video, maybe 15 seconds to show you how an example of how the experiment should play out. So, but for him and his way of learning, he does learn best by reading. Now, I do feel like my boys they sort of all, maybe except my third one. I don't know if he would have done well with this because he's not a hands-on. He's never been one to want to build things, and he really does not enjoy reading. He would have learned a lot more by a visual audio type curriculum. So keep that in mind. If you have one that does not care for that stuff, this may not be for them. So the price for this kit is $128. So it is a little bit pricey. And I really weighed that out because I've never spent that much unless it was a co-op. And that's what I had to weigh out. Like, I have spent this much on a co-op class. And he's not going to be doing that. I've had other boys in 7th grade who have done a co-op science class. I want to give him something. So I went ahead and it's been worth it. Glad we did that. So let me move on to some others. Okay, another one that we have been looking at is the Brian Builders. Now, my senior now did use the industrial age science when he was in 8th grade. Now, remember, he's the one more of a visual audio learner, but the information was good. He actually did not mind reading that book. And they say that I think that can go up through 8th grade. They do have new junior high curriculum. I'm going to share that with you. So that was really good. We even bought the lab kit, but because he's not a hands-on, he was not interested. I did try to add in his younger brother because they do have notebooks. At the time, you purchase them. Now I noticed that you can print them out free. So it's not something you could really order, but you could print out. I actually ordered mine and they were spiral, so you could print them out. And I do sort of suggest that. I think that's helpful to have a notebook with this. Okay, for the Brian Builders and the junior high, they have a new one out, and maybe it's not that new, but to me it was new because I was looking at curriculum for middle school. And it is actually called The Atomic Age. I think from what I have read about it, it is more of a life science. They do have video series with it. I couldn't really grab the price on that particular one. I think it may be an actual class that you have to take with it. But for the textbook, the price, $69, Test and Solutions, $10. The audiobook, that is what's great about these two, is there's audiobooks. They are on a thumb drive. But if you have one that struggles and you want a textbook, this would be perfect. It's $21. To me, that would be worth it. Now, they have another one called Earth Science that looks really, really good. Now, same price, textbook $69, answer key $10, audiobook $21 on a thumb drive. Now, they have recorded classes, it looks like. So it's a little bit different on their online classes, which are extra. So you can purchase or rent all the classes for $99. And I really suggest you get online because you can look at the samples from several of the different chapters. So I really suggest that if you are at all interested. So that is Brian Builders. And I do have videos on those too. So I will link those below. Now, my third one is another one I have used, and it is an online curriculum, and it's Science Shepherd. We used this last year and absolutely loved it. I've done a video on it. We actually did the Earth Science last year. And I just loved the biblical worldview. I love the visuals that he used in the illustrations. You do get a book, which is answering questions. There's some quizzes in there. It is a 5-day-a-week program. The videos are not long. I want to say maybe the longest was like 10 minutes. So I feel like my son learned so much about Earth Science. It was such a blessing, and I feel like he did well with that, even though it was mostly a visual program. I wish I would have known about it when my senior now was younger, because it really would have been perfect for him. We had tried biblical archaeology. My two younger boys did that together, and that's a shorter type of science. I did it more as an extra, but it was so interesting. And my senior now at the time, I think he was in 10th grade, he really enjoyed it and learned a lot. So that is Science Shepherd, and I really highly recommend you looking into that. They have science for early elementary all the way through high school. So I have considered them. So that is another one that I have been brainstorming through. The one that interests me, they have a intro to chemistry and an intro to physics. And the intro to physics is what interests me. And I'm still up in the air about that because you can, I think, do it in 8th grade. And I actually, in my state, I'm under an umbrella, and I have to find out if we did something like that, can I go ahead and count it as a credit for high school? Because that's sort of my goal if I did that, because it is very in-depth. Okay, another one that I have actually, like all these curriculums I have been looking at, except exploration education. They do have a couple kits that are STEM kits that I've been curious about. So I have been looking at that, but these other curriculums I'm just sort of researching out for not just the 8th grade year, but even a couple high school options too. So, but today I'm talking about middle school. Since I'm talking about that, we're going to talk about master books. Now, master books, not sure if you're familiar with them, but I have done a video specifically on this one. I'm actually forgot how many videos I've done, but I've been doing this for a few years now. We did the applied engineering. Now, the book covers are a little bit different, and I will link the video below. So if you look at it now, it is applied engineering. It's the same books. It's just the book covers look a little bit different. I think especially this one. And I will be honest, when my son used this, he only used it for half a year, and he just used this book. And it was actually one of my older boys. Now, I have been sort of researching out master books a little bit. Of course, you know, they have the teacher guides. If you're not familiar with them, in the teacher guides, they give you a great assignments, easy to follow, easy to check off, very clear. So you're pretty much reading and then doing some answering questions, terms, different things like that. So they do have a general science, and I have several of the books for that. And general science too, I actually have all 4 of the books because it's fossils, geology, ecology, and archaeology, which I have that book over there with something else. So that is an option. And for the general science too, it actually says it can be 7th through 12th grade, which surprised me. But when I was looking at what was in the teacher's guide, there's a lot of terms. And for me, these books, I love these books. My boys enjoy looking through these books, but I don't think they want to spend all their time with terms and answering questions. They learn more by just reading and discovering. So I just felt like I had to be a little bit honest there. I do love their choices of books. Another thought that made me think about that, they have some of the John Hudson Tyner books. Now, this is the world of chemistry. This is one of my favorite books for science. They have a biology one. They have a medic one. They have this other one here, Planet Earth. And when they did these, I felt like when you look through these books, at the end of each chapter are questions and answers. And I felt like that was what was in the teacher's guide for master books. So, I mean, you really could just get the books and enjoy them. And the nice thing about the master books is you do have the schedule. So if you need to hand it over to the child and have them check it off and know that they did it, that is very helpful. And they would have somewhere to write the answers in. My boys that did the chemistry one just wrote them down in a notebook at the time. So, but bringing this up, another option for me is Heart of Dakota. He will probably more than likely use Heart of Dakota for history next year. And this is part of their science. So their science is definitely more of a Charlotte Mason style. They will use this book, The World of Chemistry. It's where I first discovered those books, was from Heart of Dakota. This is the element, ingredients of the universe. So My one son that did this particular Heart of Dakota guide, this was not his favorite, but I almost feel like my son now will enjoy it. So remember, each kid is different, so be open-minded about that. And he loves to read. This is Adams in the Family. And my oldest did love these books, the ones that you actually read. Marie Carey and Albert Einstein. Now, these are all part. There's also science kits because they do experiments. There's another science kit. I don't have that out. So there's two different kits. I think one is for the first semester and one is for the second semester that they use. And it's just some of these themes in Cosmos, I think is how you say it. The other one is, I can't remember which one it is. So as I'm sharing with you my thoughts on brainstorming, this is stuff I already have, and I'm already going to have the guide to schedule this all out. This is very tempting, but I do want to share a couple more things that I'm thinking about, because as a middle schooler, you know, you have even my fourth one, I'm still like, is he going to be ready for high school? Why do we always have that thought, even though we've done this before? I don't know. I think it is because each kid is different, and you wonder, is this all going to come together? And for me, just keep moving forward. You just keep progressing, and it has come together, even for my older boy.
I did want to share with you what the whole set looks like from Heart of Dakota, because there was a couple books that I do not have pulled out. I think I do have them in storage, which are from Master Books, The Life Science Origins and Science Theory. Now, this price is pricey, $230.34, and that does not include the guide. So I just wanted to let you know that these are materials that I do already have, and I do know that I purchased them used many years ago.
So let's talk about a couple actual full online curriculums. Now, I'm going to mention one that you're totally familiar with, but I'm very interested in. It would carry them through high school also. The other one is new to me, so I'm going to share that one with you last, because I'm sort of excited about it, but I just don't know if we're going to do it this coming year or not. So BJU Press, they have Life Science for 7th, and they have Earth Science for 8th. Now, obviously, my son had done Earth Science, so I guess I feel like that is sort of what's pushing me away from that. He is not quite interested in life science. I've talked to him about different things. He said, Mom, I don't want to learn about that. And I said, well, you're going to have to when you take biology. I'm going to have to get creative when it comes to that, right? And maybe by then he'll be a little bit more interested. So I do want to tell you about it because I don't know. I don't know if I would have gone back and made any changes, but maybe it might be something you're interested in. They, of course, have the online courses. And for the science, for me, for science, that would have to be the way I went for that. Now, I say that, but this particular son does comprehend very well with just reading information. But I really I've watched some of the videos. You can watch samples online, and they are very engaging. And it's pretty much the same cost for earth science. Then I think for high school, it starts going into physical science and biology and so on. But I did want to share that with you because I do like BJU. They do have a Christian worldview. I do appreciate the teachers. We have done a few of their videos when my boys were in elementary. A couple of them did their English courses, and these were usually just for half a semester. I don't want to go into great detail of why we did that. I've talked about that in past videos, but a couple of them did the English ones. One year, my son did a science and history one. And these were all elementary ages. So I'm a little bit familiar with it. I don't think we've ever done them. No, I say that, but I think one of my boys did the 9th grade grammar. So, and that went okay. That wasn't his favorite subject, so it was good for him to have that. But the science interests me because I do enjoy the engagement of it. Now, the other one, like I mentioned earlier, with science, each child is different in what they want to learn. And like I said, my son is not interested in life science. I started thinking, what is he interested in? And can I apply that to science? And of course, if you've watched any of my videos, he's interested in World War II, and he's interested in ships and planes, and he's really become very interested in planes. And I thought, aviation. So I literally got on YouTube and typed in aviation science. And sure enough, this is what came up, and it is Excelsior classes. Now, this is an online class. So you have, from what I understand, it's live. I think there's some classes that do not have to be. They have a variety of classes, but a lot of science ones, a lot of history, art, language arts, all kinds of things. It is a little bit rigorous. So the teachers provide lectures and instructions as well as grading. Your student will receive timely feedback. I think because of the cost, which is like $596, you're going to have good teachers. You're going to have good feedback. And the reviews I've read are really good, especially for this particular science class, which is aviation science. And they actually had a little video, that's how I found it, on YouTube describing it. Now, what I am struggling with, first of all, of course, is the cost. Second of all, it says 8th and up, but it's very rigorous. Now, I did email the teacher, and she emailed me back promptly. So that's a good sign, right? And she said that she has had 8th graders. I read some of the reviews, and I think one of the reviews was a 13-year-old, but she will be 13 in a couple months. I think I'm struggling because I know that he grasps this kind of information. And you know what your kid can handle, but then I'm like, I've done this before to one of my boys. I thought he can handle this class, and it was really a lot more than I expected. And that's a little bit of my fear. Like, I don't want to throw him in quite yet. So, I don't know. And really, I'm sharing this video with you because I think if you are interested in rigorous or advanced classes, this program, I think, lets out their classes for the next year coming up, like February 1st, and you can start signing up within a few days. So I don't know how fast they fill up, because there is a limit, because it is an online, and they want to limit it so they can be more one-on-one with your student. So this particular class really interests me. They did have like an integration of chemistry and physics, which would be a good science for like a 9th grader. I thought, of course, they have biology and chemistry. They have some English 1, 2, and 3 classes, all kinds of stuff. I am not 1 ounce familiar with any of it. It has very good reviews. I was impressed because they do have a Christian worldview. The lady who sort of in charge of this gives testimony that, that's what they expect from their teachers. So I do want to share that with you, that sometimes, if your child has an interest, maybe see if there's something out there. I hear parents that are much older than me, have gone before me, and have done out of the box. And of course, I don't know if this is quite out of the box, but it is. And then I'm like, if he does it in high school, what do I mark it as? Because, there's requirements. I at least know 2 requirements, biology, and I think chemistry. It might just be biology. And that's another thing I need to look into. You might be in a state, you can pick anything you want. And I think that's great, because kids do have interests, and they could really go with somewhere with that. So I did want to share that with you. Let me know if you're familiar with it, know anybody that uses it. I would really be curious on a personal, knowing a personal review on that. But if I don't use it this year, I know that aviation one will be in the future. So I did want to share that with you. Now, I plan on doing some brainstorming on other subjects, history, language arts. Should I do one on math? For middle school, I don't know yet. But I do plan on doing some more middle school videos. The science is one of those things that is so broad that I thought I would get on here, maybe get some ideas from you all. Love to hear what you're using, what maybe you have an out-of-the-box idea. I would love to hear about it. If you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you again soon.